Alright, hello fun and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Winchester 5mm range rifle mod, which is being made by user JKRoos05. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a lore-friendly 5mm rifle that, according to the mod maker, is meant to resemble a Falloutified version of the M1 carbine and M14 sort of style of weapons. Which, honestly, did a pretty good job. I find myself quite liking this gun, not only in its usability, but function and form. And overall, I quite like seeing another new gun using the 5mm ammo, as, for me at least, that tends to be the ammo caliber I personally use the least. So good to have another use for it. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what we do get with the range rifle, which in its most basic form will deal 31 damage with a 5mm round with a firing rate of 74, range of 119, accuracy of 72, and a weight of 9.3. And as you can see here, it's overall a pretty good looking gun, very nice on the modeling and texturing, but at first glance with this most basic version, it doesn't quite resemble, at least in my opinion, that sort of M1, M14 style. It does a little bit in parts, but that's because this is the basic version. It's, you know, a gun that's lasted through the centuries since the pre-war era, and yeah, people have had to strap some junk onto it to make it function. But with modifications, you know, you can add in either wooden stocks or even cool polymer stocks, and at that point, oh yeah, they really start to resemble those rifles, and that's quite cool. But yeah, I do like that the more basic version has those, as you can see here from the modifications, junk parts. You know, just people finding the gun and making it work. I like that. Now, there is a pretty good list of different modifications overall that we do have for the gun, which is pretty great, helping keep this thing a lot more useful into the mid to late game, which is always nice to see. Now, there's nothing too crazy or wacky in here, but, you know, enough mods so you can turn this thing to, say, a close-range machine gun, all the way over to a long-range sniper rifle and anything in between, which is always nice to see. Now, stat-wise, the gun is sort of meant to be along the same lines as the combat rifle, and damage-wise, I think I read on the mod page it'll never do quite as much as the combat rifle, but pretty close. But all in all, fairly comparable. And as for how you do get your hands on one of these lovely things, well, it's pretty easy. With that whole comparable to the battle rifle thing, or combat rifle rather, you'll find it more or less anywhere you'd find a combat rifle. Starting at level 15, you'll see this thing in shops and on enemies like raiders, gunners, minutemen, and even Diamond City guards. So you'll basically be able to find this thing everywhere in the Commonwealth. And that's pretty nice. Now let's go take a look at what modifications we do have for this thing. So over to the weapon workbench we go, and start with the receiver category, which is, you know, the pretty typical stuff in here. You know, you got your standard, your heavy, your hair-triggered, all the way on up to advanced receiver, which is where you're going to pull out the most damage this thing can do at its base level with 54. Now again, that's base level with this character who has no points put into any other perks that could assist that, so with those perks you could get that thing up a bit nicer. Now then in the barrel category, we've got some good options of either a short or long barrel, and then a light version of those two, and then also a ported version of those two to really help out with that range. Always nice to get there. Now then the stock category, this is really the most aesthetic part, in my opinion, where you either get that junk stock, that factory wooden stock, or that improved sort of polymer stock, which is only 3 choices, but each of them really does change up the aesthetic of the weapon from that more junky Fallout-esque thing to a very much pre-war thing, and I think that's pretty darn cool. Now, then in the magazine category, we have a small, medium, and large magazine, and then dual versions of each of those to help with both the ammo capacity as well as your reload speed. Wonderful there. Now, we We're going to skip over the scopes at the moment because that kind of falls into 3 different categories. So let's go to the muzzle for now. And the standard, none, but you can also pop a bayonet on there, a compensator, muzzle brake, or suppressor. And then we have the trigger assembly here, where you can either have a semi-automatic version or a fully automatic version if you do want this thing to be more of a machine gun. Very, very cool there. Now, as for the scopes, okay, we got options here. Now, down at the bottom, we have the standard iron sights, where you can either have the standard, the improved, the glow, or the improved glow sights. And that is going to be if you're just wanting to use iron sights without any additional assistance. Now, if you do want a scope, you'll notice that there's nothing we can do about that right now, because first, we need a rail. And that's where we come into here for. And this not only offers rails, but also some other interesting options to change up the aesthetic a bit of the gun. So the standard here is no rail or cover, as you can see, to let all the dirt in. But then you can get a junk rail, where you'll start to be able to put some scopes onto. You can also get a just factory bolt cover that's going to be that sort of wooden aesthetic on there, but help cover in that gun, apparently like Grandpa used. Then we have an improved bolt cutter that's, you know, sharper, according to the description there. And then a factory rail that not only is going to put that cover on top of the bolt, but also add in a rail for scopes. And then an improved version of that changes up that aesthetic again, gives you that cover, and a rail for scope. So let's just pop on that one real quick. Sure, why not? And then go back to the scope category, and look, all of a sudden we have a lot more things. A lot more things. And you guys know me, I love a good scope. So yeah, we've got combat scope, short scope, multiple hollow sight and reflex scopes here, medium scope, various other X combat scopes here, standard long, a number of different night vision options from short, medium, long, and then of course recon scopes, again with different magnifications here, all very cool. So you've got just tons of options in this thing, and yeah, that's pretty nice. I do like that the night scopes have the Watts Electronics logo on the side there. Very, very cool. And yeah, that's it for all the modifications of this thing. Let's actually take off that rail, since, you know, we are trying to do the most basic version, as we always do, of these guns when we first fire them. So let's head on over to the shooting range with our weapon and fire our standard sort of short 20 ammo capacity magazine. And fire. And there we go. A good firing gun. Has a pretty great firing rate on this thing. Not the fastest ever, but pretty darn good. It does have a bit of kick. It's not a huge amount, and it is fairly controllable if you do it in small bursts, and if you do keep on firing, you're just gonna have to drag the mouse down a bit to keep it on target. But all in all, a pretty good gun. You will have to get a little bit used to the shooting, but it shouldn't take too long at all to really help keep this thing on target. Now let's go grab some of my modified versions over here that I did do. Made a nice little sniper rifle here, and a fully automatic sort of close range support gun here. Good times, and let's take some shots with that. Let's start with, let's do actually this one. The 54 damage sniping version with, of course, a suppressed scope. Love the look of this gun. It kind of looks like a weird mix between an M1 carbine and, I forget the name of it, but the assault rifle from Halo. I don't know why, but it looks like that to me, and I kind of like that. So, let's take some shots here with this. And there we go. Pretty basic sort of thing sound-wise, but with the, you know, all the lovely attachments there, the gun looks great. You've got a great scope on here. The silencer is always nice. You can be a bit sneaky with this weapon. And all in all, with this medium magazine giving you those 30 rounds, you know, a bit more shots down range before reloading. And then finally got the recoil compensating one here, which looks even more like a Halo gun to me, but so wonderful. And of course, this one being fully automatic, and the highest damage I could get with this one without any additional perks was 48. So let's use that and take some shots. Magnificent. Love it. It's a pretty great gun, and honestly, in full auto, especially with the compensator on the front, you can really, really keep this thing on target against your enemies and just plow lead down range. It is glorious. I normally don't really care too much for fully automatic weapons in this game because I'm awful at controlling them, but, yeah, pretty great. My one complaint, as you might be able to see on my character's fingers up there, they kind of clip through that guard up front. Yeah, there we go. We can actually see the cross-section of my fingers there. It's just a minor clipping issue, but honestly not too bad. Now let's grab ourselves a Deathclaw and see how well he does against this thing in full auto. Alright, hi Deathclaw, and hopefully soon, bye Deathclaw. Oh god, he got up here! Oh, that's bad for me. That's bad for me. Yeah, but he's dead. He's dead. 140 round magazine. Just gotta fix that broken arm. Wow, it's been a while since one of those guys got up the stairs to try and kill me. But yeah, that actually went pretty well. The 140 round magazine was able to take that dude down, and I'm perfectly cool with that. Die, Deathclaw! Alright, and he's got far away, so let's switch over to the other and take him with a sniping shot. Oh god, no, he's trying to go up those stairs. No, you don't! Got him through those stairs. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And... oh, wait, we're... oh, he's behind both the pillars now. There we go. Now he's dead. Perfect. Perfect. Well, yeah, that's the Winchester 5mm range rifle mod. I've been having a whole lot of fun with this, and again, I like having another gun that gives you a good use for the 5mm. I just never seem to use that ammo, and I always end up with literally thousands of rounds of it, so it's pretty nice to have a new, fun weapon to enjoy with that caliber. So if you'd like to take a look at this for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you can have a look at the link in the description as per usual. But that, my friends, is going to be it for this one today. Hopefully you have enjoyed, and you come back for the next. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, well, have a good one.